Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences, and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating Sea Otter Awareness Week in US from September 22nd to 28th, which is celebrated annually in the last week of September. Otters may be popular for their cuteness, but they serve a much bigger role in our ecosystem. No matter how enduring their flock floating on their back and rubbing their tiny faces, otters are not as at peace as they seem. This holiday was created to educate the community about the importance of maintaining and protecting the sea otter population. It is important to become aware of many challenges humans cause to sea otters. Conservation organizations are working hard to lower sea otter mortality, but you can play a significant role as well. Sea Otters Awareness Week celebrates a small and underrated creature. Otters have been around centuries before us. They date back to the Miocene age, roughly 5 to 23 million years ago. If you look beyond their cuteness, you will see an animal essential for our survival. Otters are keystone species that have a significant role to serve. They create a balance in the ecosystem by controlling the sea urchin population. This is especially essential as sea urchins overfeed on kelp and have destroyed much coastal kelp. Maintaining kelp forests reduces the effects of climate change, reducing carbon dioxide. The International Fur Seal Treaty of 1911 saves sea otters from extinction by banning the hunting of sea otters and other keystone species. Though their population continues to fluctuate throughout the years. In 1977, sea otters were littered in the Endangered Species Act, but conservation groups such as Defenders of Wildlife, founded in 1947, played a great role in the recovery process. In 2006, Defenders of Wildlife aided in establishing the California Sea Otter Fund, allowing taxpayers to donate to the cause. Sea otters have since recovered due to advocacy of wildlife conservation groups and government intervention. But the efforts of overhunting sea otters are still felt. Sea otters continue to face challenges. Their main threats are man made oil spills, fishing gear entailment, vessel strikes, and habitat degradation due to pollution and global warming. Enacting change. In 1911, the North Pacific Seal Convention of 1911 Treaty is a treaty that bans killing fur seals and sea otters in the North Pacific Ocean. So, the non-profit conservation organization Defenders of Wildlife is founded, aiming to protect all North American wildlife in 1947. Sea otters are listed in the Endangered Species Act in 1977 on the brink of extinction. Defenders of Wildlife advocates for the establishment of the Sea Otter Fund, which allows taxpayers to donate to help recover the sea otter population in 2006. Otters have the densest fur of all animals. Rubbing their fur keeps them clean, thus retaining its waterproof quality. Otters are not friendly towards other species. Don't let their sweet exterior fool you. They are apex predators and will attack you when necessary, so long as you keep your distance from them. And the most importantly, their pups, you avoid coming into contact with those sharp teeth. Otters typically live from 10 to 15 years. However, otters in zoological parks can live up to 20 years. Otters may be adorable to look at, but they don't make good pets. They suffer greatly when confined and become aggressive. They require a large body of water and socialization with other otters. It is also illegal to own a pet otter in most countries, including the US. So the best way to help sea otter population is to adopt one. Defenders of Wildlife allows you to sponsor the adorable creatures, helping them live and prosper. Won't you sleep a little better knowing you are helping an otter in need of good life? Host school events for children and their parents to learn more about these beautiful creatures. Some aquariums offer live feeds for the wildlife, nothing like watching otters float to raise awareness. So, no donation is too small. Sea otters are essential animals. They fight climate change just by existing. Otters may look small and dainty, but they consume a lot of food, about 3 times as much as average person. The otter's whiskers help it to locate movements in water to hunt prey. The loose skin under their armpits function as a pocket to help them carry food they find back to justice. So they use rocks as hammers to help break open hard-shelled prey like clams. Sea otters will and do cover themselves in kelp or seaweed to keep from floating away from each other and to protect themselves against predators. Sea otters are a keystone species and their survival is contingent on theirs. Sea otters maintain biodiversity in our ecosystem and help us fight climate change. The world around us is so fascinating, and learning about these adorable creatures and how they affect our ecosystem is enriching. Education raises awareness of these important matters and how we contribute. So, part of educating the public about the importance of otters is looking at the plentiful images of this peaceful looking animal and its fur. Nothing inspires change more. Cuteness over. And today is also commemorated as American Business Women's Day in US. So American Business Women's Day is on September 22nd and is strong evidence of if a man can, a woman can too, and sometimes even better. So we have come a long way since the post-worldwide World War II era in recognizing the efforts of women in business. Although there is still a large gap to breed equality in business world, associations such as American Business Women's Association work tirelessly in advocating for women in the workplace. While we support women at work, let us help them find the scholarships for vocational or technical courses that would help them and add value to their workspace even more. So, women play vital roles in anything and everything in society, and that includes business as well. With more than 68 million working women and 7.7 women business owners in America, today is a blessing that Kansas City's businesswoman Hillary Bufton Jr. sat down in a coffee shop with Shirley Cup. Irma Beazle and Frances Stuckey many years ago founded the American Businesswomen Association at a time when it was considered socially unacceptable for women to pursue a full-time career. This association was incorporated on September 22nd, 1949, shortly after World War II, when many women had lost their jobs and were reminded that first reportedly was to their home and their family. Bufton Jr. felt that all women were seeking and deserved equal business opportunities, and though necessity had gained tremendous business knowledge during the World War II, he also believed that a new organization for all businesswomen was needed. The mission of the occasion is to bring together the businesswomen of diverse occupations and to provide opportunities for them to help themselves and others grow personally and professionally. It is passionate about breaking boundaries for women and advocating for equal rights and pay across all facets of work. American Business Women's Day was recognized in 1983 and 1986 by congressional resolution, and a proclamation was issued by President Ronald Reagan. It honors the increasing role that women have to play in the world of business today, as well as the accomplishments of businesswomen across the nation and world at large. So the government minister for labor declares the 1 million wives are wanted for war work, and later that year women were conscripted in 1941. So the Hillary Bufton Jr. Shirley Cup, Irma Beazle, and Frances Stuckey from American Businesswomen Association founded the foundation in 1949. The American Businesswomen's Association has its first sponsored American Business Day in 1982. American Businesswomen's Day is recognized for the first time by congressional resolution and a proclamation issued by President Ronald Reagan in 1980. So, Kansas City Shirley Cup, Irma Beazle, Frances Stuckey, and Mr. Hillary Bufton Jr. founded the American Businesswomen's Association in 1949 to advocate for women's rights in workplace. They had their first sponsored American Business Women's Day event in 1980. So American Business Women's Day is on September 22, while Business Women's Week is during the last week in October. Although they both advocate for the same cause, they are celebrated differently. Women own 36% of business worldwide. California has the highest proportion of women owned firms in the US at 1.3 million. Women launch more than 1,200 new business every day, every single day in the US. Support your local businesswomen. You do not need to know any businesswoman personally to offer your support. Start by supporting your local female business owner, promoting the inclusion and hiring of women at your workplace, or even giving a few words of encouragement to any businesswoman you come across. Have you have been have you been having doubts about breaking into the male dominated industry or just looking? So have you been having doubts about breaking into male dominated industry or just looking for opportunity to do so? Whatever the case may be, this may be in a cosmic science job role in a skeptical or opening the small business. Honor Business Women's Day by learning more about some of the successful and inspirational female entrepreneurs such as Oprah and Cherwang. Go an extra mile by sharing whatever you learn, advocating for women's rights in the workplace, or giving a shout out on any female professionals and business owners across your platform. So women are about 2 times less likely than men to obtain financial financing for the business, and most of the female entrepreneurs who top the Forbes American 50's richest self-made women list created and founded their own companies. With over 9 million women companies, female-owned business in the United States have produced more than 1.7 trillion in profits. According to Women Business Enterprise National Council, female entrepreneurs own 40% of all business in the US. Women entrepreneurs in the United States rank their happiness at nearly 3 times of the women who are not entrepreneurs or established business owners. According to a study conducted by the Harvard Business Review, women rank higher on several major elements of leadership than their male counterparts. So, American Business Women Day shows the women are more capable of doing whatever they set their mind. This definitely applies to the business as well. So, women are breaking boundaries every day and taking their place as not just members but also leaders of the workplace, being responsible for a majority of Americans' overall revenue and a chunk of employment rate and profitable business. Women have shown their value in the workforce, and the day showcases that. If one thing is to put the effort of work, but another to be valued and appreciated for it, everyone loves to be appreciated, and American Business Women Day gives room to appreciate our resilient women. So this day especially is commemorated as Car Free Sunday on September 22nd. This day encourages motorists to give up their cars for a day. Some cities and countries organize events in celebration of this day. These events, which vary by location, give motorists and commuters a glimpse of what their locality would be. Like fewer cars, projects of this nature have been taken place from time to time on light basis beginning in 1973 with the oil crisis. It was only in the 1994 that there was a structured call for such projects in a keynote speech by Eric Britton at the International Suites Accessible Conference, which was held in Toledo, Spain. Car Free Sunday has its origins from when the Environment Transport Association, ETA, set the inaugural Car Free Day on first Tuesday in the Green Transport Week, which was sometime around 17 June. In 2000, the agreement was made for it to be self-standing day, held on September 22, originally as Pan-European Day, organized under the sponsorship of the European Commission. It was later expanded globally during the time of large cities around the world were invited to close their centers to car, pedestrian, cyclist, and other forms of sustainable transportations were encouraged instead. The idea of this holiday is that people can reflect on their city, would like fewer cars, and measures would be required to bring that pictures to reality. Advocates report that over 100 million people in 1,500 cities around the world celebrate International Car Free Day, though it is done on days they choose in the ways they choose as well. This claim, however, remains unconfirmed. Activists, while trying to determine the benefits of this day, suggested that it was agreeable to have a pleasant day with fewer cars and presumably fewer accidents in some parts of the city or state, at least. But they also considered this could be the bottom line as far as the activists were concerned. The goal of a car-free day from the outset has been to serve as a catalyst in a much larger and more ambitious process of citywide systematic transformation towards a sustainable system. So the first car-free Sundays are held in the Netherlands and Belgium because of Swiss crisis in 1956. The Canadian city of Toronto becomes the first North American city to host a car-free day in September 2000. The third World Car Day. World Car Free Day was celebrated in September 2002, promoted by Carbusters. Now World Car Free Network takes place in September 2002. The first car-free Sunday in the central business district of Singapore to be celebrated with mass events taking place in 2016. So car emissions can be divided into two general categories: air pollutants, which contribute to smog, haze, and health problems, and greenhouse gases, GHGs, such as carbon dioxide and methane. There are three main sources of car emissions, which are its engine exhaust and its crankcase and its fuel tank and carburetor. So a typical passenger vehicle emits about 4.6 metric tons of carbon dioxide per year. So this idea, Car Behind Free Sunday, so join the conversation online using the #CarFreeSunday hashtag and share interesting facts about the importance of getting your cities emission free. A 2021 survey stated that there were over 1 billion cars in use globally. Over a billion, as many as 70 million cars are produced each year. So the carbon emissions produced from the cars are polluted to the environment. About 95% of the car's lifetime is spent parked. So it is a bit to prove a more sustainable means of transportation. Car manufacturers have begun manufacturing and selling thousands of units of electric cars with Tesla firmly in the lead. So when we move around with a car, chances are that we are doing some walking or cycling. Either way, we are giving our bodies some much needed exercise. Car-Free Sunday is designed to be a catalyst in tackling on the problem of environment pollution from cars. As we participate, we give ourselves to the cause. It probably goes without saying, but with fewer cars comes less traffic congestion. This is a scenario we all can live with. Today is also commemorated as Chainmail Day in US. Chainmail Day is observed annually on September 22nd, and we are preparing ourselves to celebrate the historical and incredible armor that still has much relevance today. Do you know that chainmail has been found in almost every medieval culture and was one of the mainstays of armies in that period and was particularly loved by the Romans? It is a unique type of armor composed of interwoven links of metal and often worn over a layer of leather or padded cloth. The chainmail is commonly believed to be invented by the Celts, but there are examples of Etruscan pattern mail dating from at least 4th century BC. The earliest examples of ancient mail were discovered by archaeologists in the Carpathian Basin at a burial in Horny Jato, Slovakia, dated 3rd century BC, and it's a chapter burial located in Quimesti, Romania. The name chainmail is redundant as a mail in French word for chain, hence it can simply be referred as mail. So mail is typically made of iron wire and which has made much easier to obtain that iron plates throughout the ancient and medieval periods. Though generally in common military use between the 3rd century BC and the 16th century AD in Europe. There are two methods of fabricating this historical place of armor, namely butting the riveting butted chainmail has the rings bent together with no mechanical connection, holds the ends together. With riveted mail, rings are often combined with solid punch rings to save labor. Both methods produce mail that is highly resistant to both slashing and stabbing. The benefits of chainmail came from its ability to protect the wearer while still allowing them to freedom of movement. While it wasn't particularly effective against piercing women's weapons like spears and arrows, it was exceptional against those with blades such as sword and a dagger. As weapons technology advanced and the firearms were disappeared, the chainmail began to decide in use for defense, but it still continues to be used for protection in several industries and fields today. Today is also commemorated as Dear Diary Day in US, which is held on September 22nd each year and is aimed at celebrating the way diaries help us to get our thoughts out and document our lives. Do you know that diaries have been in use by humans over 2000 years? They are notebooks that provide listening ears for all we have to say. Diaries can include anything and everything from the everyday travel things like getting stuck in the traffic to your most secrets. Diaries have been kept for generations. They include thoughts, daily adventures, secrets, and hopes for future. The word diary comes from diarim, meaning daily allowance, which relates to note-taking of daily activities. The oldest diaries still in existence come from the Middle Eastern and East Asian countries. The earliest surviving diary of this era was Ibn Bana in the 11th century. His diary is earliest known to be arranged in order the date after a date very much like modern diaries in the West. Over the years, these preserved records have provided historians with important insights into what life and culture was for precious generations of people and created a deep appreciation for the past human eras. The origins of Dear Diary Day may be uncertain, some believing it was a Thomas and Ruth Roy at wellcat.com. The thought of celebrating a constant listening ear that wouldn't judge one is only fitting. A diary is willing to pay equal attention to the events of every life, whether it is that of someone already famous or a person who expresses their dream to be. It deals with felt hurts, endured egos, failed plans, and future hopes without argument or advice, yet somehow providing comfort and satisfaction. The precursors of the modern day diary include daily notes of medieval mystics concerned mostly with inward emotions and outward events perceived as spirituality important. Emperor Marcus Aurelius keep a diary in Greek personal in 200 AD. People began to record their personal opinions and express themselves in diaries in 14th century. A book in which a daily record was written, Ben Jonson's comedy Welpon, is referred as a diary in 1605. The Simpson Company creates the first featherweight diary, enabling diaries to be carried about in 1908. Using the word dear gives a personal sense of communication with someone, hence making a diary come alive. There is no rule, here it's yours, or so write whatever it is you feel in the moment you are set to noting the day and time. Naming your diaries gives it a stronger presence and makes it come alive. Considering this, it is a good idea to name yours. This day is a good one to begin a diary of your own. Get your choice notebooks and penning down those thoughts whose memories you are like to keep always. There are lots of published diaries of notable people as well as everyday people. You can read up on some of them for free online or purchase them to get insight and learn a thing or two from them. Become part of the book club and do something different from the traditional reading. Read up the selecting diaries together with your peers and enjoy the delight of learning from other people's perspectives. So Pepys' diary is the earliest diary known to be published in 1825. Pepys' diary contained eyewitness accounts of major events like the Great Plague and the Fire of London. The practice of publishing a diary after the death of writer began in the 19th century. Among notable diaries by 20th century literary figures are those of Franz Kafka and Edmund Wilson and Paul Lyotard. People now publish their diaries on the internet to be shared with the world. The faintest ink, they say, it is better than the sharpest memory. With a diary, you can make sure to have those precious memories well preserved throughout the time, especially now that you can keep a digital format. And all our struggles and joys as humans throughout life are similar. Through a diary, people can relate with and connect to us as with one another. So, through the written personal experiences of people, we can learn important lessons that can help us make wiser decisions when faced with the similar situations. They can, in a similar way, learn from ours. They can help us learn lessons from the life of others. So today is also commemorated as Elephant Appreciation Day in US. It is a great time to give these majestic and beautiful creatures the respect they deserve. Elephants are the largest land mammals on earth, so it is only right that they have a day completely dedicated to them. Sadly, humans are increasingly placing the elephant's future at risk. So whether you are a lifelong elephant lover or not, take time on September 22nd to learn about these amazing pachyderms. Elephants helped to win a battle in 279 BC when Pyrrhus invaded southern Italy. He used elephants to help him win a bloody battle. Portuguese King Manuel I sent Pope Leo X an elephant as an elaborate gift in 1540. So the London Zoological Society sold Jumbo, the elephant, to circus developer P.T. Barnum for 2000, igniting a major controversy in 1882. So National Elephant Appreciation Day, publisher Wayne Hepburn started it all over after an elephant paperweight gifted sparked his interest in 1996. So if you're lucky, you might get to watch the elephants during feeding time or have the opportunity to ask about what life is like for zoo elephants. Pop over to your nearest craft store and you'll be well on your way to creating adorable masks, handprint art, and even cute t-shirts. Make it a point to grab a book that will help you brush up on the elephant review. So there's so much dexterity in an elephant trunk, it can pick up the tiniest of particles. Baby elephants blind shortly after birth can nonetheless stand up, functions, and quiet. Elephants have life expectancy 50 to 70 years. They are not afraid of mice. Some African communities actually use elephants to help keep field mice out of crops. They are endangered. Hunting has severely reduced the number of elephants left in the world. Thankfully, organizations such as World Wildlife Fund and the International Elephant Foundation are working hard to protect African and Asian elephants. Pay attention to an elephant for a little while and it's easy to feel connected. Elephants are able to display fear, joy, excitement, and even greed. They are also very social, meaning they are more like humans than may have realized. Elephant respect comes through age and wisdom, not aggression. Many elephants follow around the oldest female because she knows where to find food and shelter. Summer has slipped away. So this day is commemorated as fall equinox on September 22nd in northern hemisphere. Astronomically, it's a day when the sun crosses celestial equator heading south. Thus, the fall and spring equinoxes provide Earth with roughly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness. So, after blazing hot summer, this day of fall signals cooler weather. From the time of Druids, the fall equinox signaled at the end of the harvest, then winter preparations began. Families celebrated with parties and other social gatherings. Autumn's lost and winter solstice. Today, city dwellers often head to the countryside, for example, rural New England, to take in the changing colors of the leaves. Symbolically, the fall equinox reminds us to be grateful for the harvest in our own lives over the course of the year. This fall equinox takes time to reflect on the bounty of nature and the possibilities for abundance in every part of your amazing life. That all depends on what you believe. The equinox brings an end to spring's rebirth, signaling a period of darkness and decline. That all depends on what you believe. The equinox brings at the end of spring's rebirth, signaling a period of darkness and decline. What does it mean to you? Things are reversed on the southern hemisphere, where September's equinox marks the beginning of the fall. Fall arrives in March below the equator. Nature points on a quiet show in autumn, the rotating colors of leaves from green to red to rust to bright gold signals from the inevitable changing of the seasons. Here are 6 top places to watch. Kyoto, Japan. Check the Tofuji. So nature puts on quiet show in autumn. The rotating colors of leaves from green to red to rust to bright gold signals the inevitable changing of the seasons. Here are 6 of the top places to watch. So nature puts on quite a show in autumn. The rotating colors of leaves from green to red to rust to bright gold signals the inviting changing of the seasons. So you can check out these wonderful places like Tofkuji, a large 13th century Zen temple in southeastern Kyoto, famous for spectacular autumn colors. Don't miss the Sukenyo Bridge, which spans a valley of lush maple trees. Fall colors peak in mid-November. Average November 15th, the high temperature in Kyoto is 62 Fahrenheit. The fun in England, New England, the fun begins in the late September with a burst of color throughout Maine and New Hampshire. Things move south by late October, where you will find the best autumn views and hues in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Average October 15th high temperature is Bartlett NH 58F. So aim for September and October when prices tend to drop. Get set for gorgeous autumn colors, the first snow, and even the northern lights. Average October 10 high temperature, Reykjavik 42 F. Joy Martin envisioned a great outdoor museum of trees when he established the Martin Arboretum in 1922. It's a 1,700-acre autumn paradise just 30 miles west of downtown. Average November 1st high temperature in Chicago is around 56 Fahrenheit. Ontario, colorful Canada, red maple, yellow poplar, and white birch make Ontario's landscape a must-see autumn affair. Try an aerial or rail tour for even more spectacular views. Average November 1st high temperature in Ottawa is 50 Fahrenheit. Catch autumn fairs and festivals throughout the season. Experts recommended one of the many pilgrim paths that run throughout Bavaria. The King Ludwig Trail is a highlight. Average November 1st high temperature in Nuremberg is 49 Fahrenheit. And finally, we see snow before Halloween. Grab a coat, it could happen. The old Farmer's Almanac calls for a trace of October snow in the Northeast, Appalachians, lower lakes, upper Midwest, high plains, and Alaska. Expect flurries in Atlantic Canada, Western Ontario, and Canadian prairies as well. So when fall equinox occurs in Northern Hemisphere on Monday, September 22nd, the actual time changes each year. So this is the latest start to fall equinox since 2015. The ancient pagan cultures held the solstices and equinoxes in high regard. The Druids and the Celts honored traditions and performed rituals based on these special celestial days. One specially important part of the fall equinox involved taking time to reflect the good and the bad aspects of the first 3 quarters of the year based on the equal amounts of light and dark reflected during the equinox. So got a recipe that crushes it at every party. Kick up the flavor of brownies, cakes, pies, and cocktails, and even savory pork and beef dishes with the tanginess of pumpkin spice. Invite your friends over and see what good stuff you cook up together. You finally beat the summer heat, so to take the advantage of these early crisp days of fall, whether it's just a simple walk around your neighborhood or hike in the woods, enjoy the crush of the leaves on the ground. As you stroll, head outdoors, inhale the fresh air and notice changes, nature's challenges all around. The full moon nearest the fall equinox is referred to as harvest moon due to the fact the farmers have extra time to bring in the harvest thanks to the longer night. The 2019 harvest moon happened on Friday and September 30th. So low vitamin D is linked to fat storage, which is one reason people gain weight in fall, a diet dilemma. The beautiful colored lights of the aurora borealis are the result of more frequent geomagnetic storms and a great time to see this natural phenomenon, according to NASA. Actually, the celebration of the fall equinox at England's Stonehenge isn't a party at all, but rather a ritual gathering of druids honoring the coming of fall. Amateur and professional astrologers alike note the fall equinox as a period of the sun entering the sign of Libra. It started innocently enough a simple sweet coffee drink that went well with the falling temperatures, but now the pumpkin spice latte has spawned a cottage industry of pumpkin spice foods, from beers and breads to cocktails and savory meals. Its arrival is arguably even more awaited than the equinox itself, and for many, combo of pumpkins and spices reminds us that fall has arrived. From jack-o'-lanterns, Halloween, and decorative gods on Sunday, after all, football and Thanksgiving, the holiday season officially starts with the coming of fall. Once those first Halloween decorations go up, your house probably won't look the same until of the new year get used to. After a long summer of travel and adventures, sometimes there's nothing better chilling inside on the couch all day. A dreary autumn day is a perfect time to catch up on the latest Netflix shows and to doze with one eye open while watching your favorite run team on Sundays. These are perfect fall days. So today is also commemorated as Falls Prevention Awareness Day in US on September 22nd. At the start of fall season, and it's a very serious matter that we all need to pay attention to. It is leading cause of injury related to emergency department visits, and the day is used to address this public health issue. Falls can be more dangerous than they might seem. They cause bruising, hip fractures, and head injuries, and these accidents have the potential to be fatal, especially for elderly, which means that they deserve extra attention to make sure they are protected. As people get older, many of their faculties begin to weaken. The eyesight becomes more poorer, muscles deteriorate, as does coordination. In 1972, psychology professor Dibner saw a way to help the elderly during the phase of their life. Dibner came up with an idea for a personal emergency response system. When they were injured and unable to get a phone, they could use the device to call for help. And in 1976, he was awarded a patent for lifeline systems. So as people get older, many of their faculties begin to weaken. Eyesight becomes poorer, muscles deteriorate, as does coordination. In 1972, psychology professor Dibner saw a way to help the elderly during this phase of their life. Dibner came up with an idea for personal emergency response system. When they were injured and unable to get to a phone, they could see device to call for help, and in 1976, he was awarded the patient for lifelines systems. Dibner's invention took off. It gave elderly the assistance they needed and their loved ones a sense of relief, knowing that they had direct access to medical services. In 1987, Life Alert was created by Isaac Shepard. This gadget could be worn as a necklace or wristband with an automated dialer that connected to a telephone line. As more emergency response systems were created, they became more accessible and they were able to help more people in need. In the 1990s, Life Alert became known by everyone because of its memorable commercial. It showed an elderly woman that falls and uses the medical alert pendant by using catchphrase, "I have fallen and I can't get up," which became famous. The brand visibility of this commercial helped get more of these devices into homes. In 2007, 4 state falls prevention coalitions observed Falls Prevention Awareness Day on a state level. The next year, the Falls Free State Coalitions on Falls Prevention Work Group requested that Falls Prevention Awareness Day be on the first day of the fall. Since then, many states have come together to help solve the problem of public health issues related to fall and injuries by working with medical professionals and supporters. So, Dr. Andrew Dibner, a dermatologist, was the first person to think of a life alert service that could call for emergency help when an elderly person is unable to get to their phone. It was known as automatic alarm system in 1972. Psychology professor Dibner is awarded the Patient for Lifeline Medical Alert Services in 1976. Isaac Shepner creates Life Alert, a medical alert pendant that could be worn as a necklace or a wristband in 1987 with health and fashion. So Life Alert commercials became memorable with the catchphrase, I have fallen and I can't get up in 1992. So Falls Prevention Awareness Day starts at the beginning of the fall season and more states joining as the years go on in the fall in 2008. So many things, including lower body weakness, vitamin D deficiency, difficulties balancing, use of medicines that affect cognitive abilities, vision problems, foot pain, and poor footwear are some of them. Injuries can range from minimal to severe and include broken bones, head injuries, and an increased fear of failure. So if you want to donate, you can donate at ncoa.org. So spend some time with an elderly person that you can know, or find some organizations who are providing support, verify them, and you can support them, volunteer with them, or donate to them in cash or kind so that they can deliver better services and reach out to more people. So senior citizens can often feel like they are burdened to their family and friends. Remind them that you are there if you need anything and to ensure that they are taking care of themselves. There are state and national activities that you can take part in. The National Council in the Aging NCOA celebrates Falls Prevention Awareness Day with screening education, advocacy activities, and community-based falls prevention programs. Get informed and get active to spread awareness. And there are small yet important things that can make life easier for elderly. Look around your home and community and consider how they can't be affected by the environment. Check for stairs without handrails, slippery tub baths, and that could use mats and uneven floors and bring them up to the proper parties to provide a safer space. An adult age 65 or older falls every second of the day in United States, falls per second. Medicare costs of falls that require medical treatment were more than $31 billion in 2015. More than 3 million older adults are treated for fall related injuries each year. And falls are most common cause of traumatic brain injuries, brain trauma. And falls that are second leading cause of accidental or unintentional injury deaths worldwide. With this, we shall conclude today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. We request before leaving, quickly fill up the feedback form.